It's Thursday, and that means your local papers are at your front step. And joining me in studio to talk about some of the articles that you can expect to read is Nikki Wesley. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And now, Nikki, you have a really exciting article about an athlete turned into new athlete. So why don't you share with us the story?
Yes. So Oakville's Andrew Scott used to be a BMX bike racer, and 3 years ago he was looking to do something in the winter as well, because obviously BMX, you're on a dirt track, you're outside. Winter in Canada is not conducive. So he was wowed by the velodrome racers and the fact that, you go up on an embankment and you're basically, denying gravity and all of this. So that was 3 years ago when he joined the beginners team. And this year in August, he's going to be heading to Frankfurt, Germany as a member of the Canadian team for the Junior Cycling World Championships. So that's pretty incredible.
Absolutely. It's amazing the talent that we have here across
It really
the region.
is. It really is.
And now as we move along around the region, now you and I both know we work in news. We cover the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
And it's important for people to know all sides of the stories. And you have an article that really highlights this.
Absolutely. So this week in all of our papers, reporter Louie Rosella dives into why it is that we cover bad news. And I mean, we get letters all of the time just letting us know when we're doing a good job, when we're doing a bad job. All of the feedback is really helpful. A little while ago, we got a letter saying, "Your publication disgusts me. Why would you ruin the lives of two families?" And that was in one of the many emails, and that was discussing a deadly Oakville crash that involved a Mississauga paramedic who was actually driving under the influence, and someone died in that crash. So Louis goes on to say, we need to put faces to these stories because it's much more impactful for you, the reader, for the viewer, to actually identify with a human being as opposed to a statistic. And another example is the fentanyl overdose story we talked about last week up in Milton.
Yes.
And the parents came forward. The parents came to us and said, "We want to tell this story. It's a really sad story, but maybe the public will learn from it." Mm-hmm. And so that's, Louis goes into much more detail as to why we do report the bad news, but it's a community learning experience.
Right, and it is important for people to also recognize a lot of the families in these articles do come forward to talk about it. It's not just information that's given to you, it's information directly from the source.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing that people need to recognize, is that these stories really want to be told. And
Exactly.
people want them to be told.
Exactly, and obviously, they are, for lack of a better word, really crappy things that happen. Mm-hmm. But they happen, and it's part of our job to tell the stories of the community.
And lastly, quickly, we have another article talking about the details of what's happening with our local school board.
Yes, so the Halton District School Board, reporter Kathy Yonkis has gone into detail about, so we had a whole bunch of we thought we had hundreds of teachers being laid off, but now that they've actually rolled out the actual budget of the 154 elementary teachers that were looking to be on the chopping block, most of them are going to be able to keep their jobs. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's not the same in the high schools. Of the 154 teachers declared potentially redundant, I believe 72 of those teachers have been recalled. 31 more have been partially recalled, but that leaves the rest. They will not be coming back to their jobs.
Right. And you can read, of course, all of those details in the article at your local paper, and you can also check them out on the web, InsideHalton.com, as well. Follow them on Instagram at InsideHalton and on Facebook.